Hello Pisces, welcome to Mind, Body and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for the month of June 2019. It's a general reading for Sun, Moon and Rising sign Pisces. And if it resonates, it resonates. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Okay, I pre-shuffle the cards. So what I usually do is just I pre-shuffle before and then I'm looking for the jumpers. And there you go, the Three of Swords was eager to come out. Let's see. What are the messages? Okay, sorry about that. Ten of Pentacles. What are the messages for Pisces? Okay, I saw it wanting to turn before, but it didn't. Now it came out. King of Pentacles. One more, please. That's fast. And Temperance. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords as your underlying energy, your theme. All right, now let's see what are the clarifiers for these cards. So we have the Eight of Pentacles to go along with the Three of Swords. Okay, didn't really see that. Okay, these two come together. It did jump like expressively backwards, but we'll see where that leads. I don't usually read them in return because each and every card does have bright side and dark side, and I usually go through both, so there's no reason to read the reversals. King of Pentacles. Oh, seriously. All right, this actually makes a lot of sense with the Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. And what do we have for Temperance? What do we have for Temperance? Ta-dam, ta-dam. Eight of Wands. These are both Sagittarius energy. Don't know what that means, if it means anything to you, but there you go. Bottom of the deck, to go along with the Ten of Swords, you have the Four of Cups. So this is what we're working with. This is where you are. This is your underlying energy. This is your theme. All right? So your theme right now is working with this Ten of Swords, which is damn hard. It is difficult, Pisces. Hang in there. And I know that when you're in this energy, it's really hard to see that this is the end of it and that, you know, this is rock bottom. There's no low. After this, you can only go forward. You can only go on a high. Because this is the end of a pattern. This is the end of a way of thinking that had been holding you back. And we're going to get to this in a moment. It's probably related to this. It comes along with the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups, it is an energy where one needs to retreat a little bit and trust a little bit that you need this retreat. Check out what's in these cups, but also check out what's in front of you. See what you're missing out on. What is it that you're not looking at? And this is where is probably the gift lies, you know, in try to take some time and see what is it that you're not noticing in your emotional landscape. Well, usually it's gratefulness, being grateful for what we really have. This is what is going to allow you to let this part of you die gracefully. Now, we all hold so many narratives inside, and we all hold so many, we can identify with so many different heroes on different journeys somehow, even though we tend to have a very solid idea of who we are. Well, that's kind of like you start understanding that it's not really that simple, and that when you do slow down a little bit, when you do go into meditation or into self-reflection, you realize that the self you're holding so hard on, that you really have this strong identity with, is not all that solid. It's actually really, really fluid and ever changing. We are not the person we were yesterday. We're not the person that we were 5 minutes ago. We are constantly changing. Everything is a process. And there are some of these heroes within ourselves, some of these personas that we've been carrying for a long time that showed up like delegates. We're like, I send this part of me, or this part of me shows up whenever this happens, because this is a habitual reaction. This is what I usually do. This is a pattern, right? When this sort of trigger shows up. But well, this particular persona that had been shown up, have been so many times in this particular situation, serve this purpose, and it's time to let it go. And you're seeing it right now, and yeah, it's not easy. Though many times it can feel like, okay, finally, I can let myself rest. Finally, I can allow myself to breathe, because this story is finished. I can allow myself to mourn. I can allow myself to feel. I can allow myself to have really, like, the Four of Cups is also a card of like emotional stability. You do have the detachment you need to see what's in these cups, and to sort out your emotions. You're a little bit numb, maybe. It can be associated with depression. But depression, it's really a place where your body is calling up on you and your mind is calling up on you to take this rest. This is why when we're depressed, we have less energy, we are less prompt to want to go out and meet other people. It is a call for you to revise your emotions, to take stock, to check what's really that's been driving you so far. Check out these personas that have been showing up for you, or that you've been delegating in order to deal with certain situations. Are they still representing who you are and what you believe in? Who are you really? Can you own the fact that you are not the soul itself, but an ever-changing process? Can you deal with that on your rational mind? Can you deal with can you even take in this concept? It's not an easy one to even imagine. For those of you that had been on the spiritual path for a long time, for those of you that had been doing, say, meditation retreats, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that spend a lot of like time in reflection, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you that don't, well, how to put this? Don't take this too dramatically, because it's not who you really are. It's just a part of you, that a way that you used to be, the one way of you, how you were used to show up for yourself and in the world. It's a learned pattern. It's a learned behavior. And it serves this purpose. Don't freak out. It's all right. Okay? Pisces? And yeah, this time is necessary. These moments of depression, when we are looking in, when we slow down, when we take in the space to sort through, and we're a little bit numb, well, we can't stay there forever. So pay attention and work on it. Process and allow, but don't get stuck in there. The Three of Swords, well, I say this many times. If you follow my readings, you probably know that the Three of Swords is not as a dramatic card as it looks like. It's really about the mind. The three is a number of the mind. We know you have the four suits. One is physical, two is emotional, three is mental, four is spiritual. So the three of swords. Swords is also the suit for the mind, right? It's all happening in the mind, whatever it is that you're at, and you're processing your emotions at a mind level. And it is time to align those two. It is time to go to understand what is it that your heart really wants, what is it that your heart desires are. But you need to understand it at a mental level, and I think you're finally getting there by allowing these parts of us that had been habitually showing up again and again and again, and we believe them as part of ourselves. As we allow them to we retire them. Like, okay, you served your purpose, thank you so much. Now I'm allowing you to finish that story. um we can get one step closer to our hearts. There was a poem by Rumi, and I'm quoting here. I don't really know exactly, but it's something like this. Your I don't know, your purpose is not to seek for love, but to seek and find all the barriers that you built up against love. So this was a barrier, really. Any learned behavior, any pattern that just shows up, it shows up as a defense mechanism. Here, this is also a wall of swords here. It's a defense mechanism that shows up in order to protect us. But as we are relying so hard on these defenses, we're also isolating ourselves from who we really are at the heart, at the core of our being. So whenever one of these is retired, sorry, I don't know why I find this so funny. Whenever one of these is like, okay, you've served your purpose, you've finished the story. I've allowed the whole like broken record to finish the story, and I understand it, and I've learned the lesson. Then I am getting one step closer to my heart. I've eliminated one of those barriers that stayed in my way of experiencing true unconditional love. And you're perfecting your craft here. You're learning how to do this processing. You're learning, and you're creating your own method, maybe, of how to actually get closer to your heart. You're learning what is important here. You're learning that the mind, you're learning maybe how the mind works. You learn how to do the processing that serves you best. We all respond to different kinds of methods. That's why therapy doesn't work in only one way. There are so many methods, and they're not right or wrong. There's like what works for different people. We all come from different backgrounds with different experience, and we can respond differently to the same stimuli and the same triggers based on our own intake, based on our own patterns, based on our own experiences. So you're learning what works for you. Well done there, Pisces. That's great. And with this 10 of Pentacles, you're building up your legacy here. You see, this is an 8. You're building up towards this 10 here. What is it that you want to move towards? What is it that you want to leave behind? What is it? What is the life? What is the empire that you want to rule? How do you see the world that works for you? You can go to understanding this through, again, going in, going within, going through. Use this time of emotional numbness that to find yourself in, to find out the information, to go within, to find the information from your emotions. This is, some people read this as apathy, but this is a good time to process, a perfect time to process, and a perfect time to connect with the wisdom within. You are driven by your own body and inner wisdom towards this. Use this time wisely. Don't get stuck in here. Let this go. Understand that this is not a personal defeat, whatever it is that made you feel like this. This is the end of one of your inner stories. This is it. And as you go inside, as you allow yourself to learn the knowledge from your inner self, from your higher self, High Priestess, you actually start seeing that it's all within. And yeah, allow this tower to fall. This is a certain level of spiritual awakening, the tower. You know, sometimes I've had a period of like tower after tower after tower, especially this beginning of the year. It was really just towers, and it can get a little bit overwhelming. It's a little bit hard to take it at times. But see, you're building up here. You're learning how to deal with this. You are reaching the 10 of Pentacles here, and there you have the King of Pentacles with the Queen of Cups, Pisces. These two are your energies. You can do this. You have the support. You have the space. You have the wisdom, the inner wisdom. Access that inner wisdom. And access the resources that you've built. Know your method. Remember what is it that works for you. Because you've done it before. This is not the first time. And you can have this tower turns into a grace. You can learn this, and you can allow these sides of yourself that you've been like so used to these are like really mirroring each other here. These people are not dying here. They're free. Otherwise, if they get stuck into this tower, they die there. Here, they're being liberated. You're receiving a new level of grace. A lesson. And it is from within. I mean, like, this is not necessarily, I don't see this as something outside of you that's happening. It's probably an inner ivory tower that you held up yourself into because it was safe, you know, one of those defense mechanisms, one of those walls we build around our hearts. And it crumbles. And you get one step closer to what your heart desires. You get one step closer to your really, really building up your legacy, to really know what is it that you're here for. Or to creating something. It's still your choice. And here we are, the king and a queen. These are masters of their suits. King of Pentacles is really like embodying this abundant place, in owning your treasures from within, allowing yourself to come from that. Oh, I actually forgot about this, but this is it, you know. When you operate from this place of scarcity, from the place of isolation and feeling out into the cold, and I get it, we can feel like that when we're here, but that's because we're disconnecting from the world. Oh no, this guy wears this red coat under, and he has red shoes. He is grounded and he is aware of what he's doing here. Yeah, he's still searching for it. What is it that he doesn't see? And he's right in front of him. He doesn't see it yet. That's why he needs to be here. It can feel a little bit like this though. If we stay there a little bit too long, you know, it can feel isolating. It can feel like we're being crippled. Depression had never been fun. I'm not saying that you're clinically depressed. I'm saying that maybe it's just a period where you're kind of drawn within. Listen to that and see where do you feel left out in the cold. See where within you still believe somehow that you're being rejected from the world out there. These people are so focused on their lack, what is it that they don't have, on the feeling of rejection, on their own misery, that they don't see that there's a church in here where they can take refuge and warm up. This is like not seeing what's in front of you again. See? But you're building up towards it. You are going within. You are allowing this tower to fall. These are very much related. The tower is what keeps you isolated. The tower is what keeps you believing in that separate self, believing in that the world is in this certain way when there's no space for me in it. No, you are this King of Pentacles. You are as abundant as everyone else. And that abundance comes from within, not from outside. We are able to access as many resources as we allow ourselves to see. And here, the Queen of Cups, I mean, like, this is your, like, when you're your best self, you are this Queen of Cups. And the High Priestess. Somebody who's, like, deeply empathetic and deeply aware of emotions, their own emotions and other people's emotions. She's the best therapist because she feels everything. She knows how to sort out her feelings, though, and she knows how to take space. She knows how to take space in order to replenish her own cup here. But she knows that she can. She knows that she has the resources. She knows that it's her cup. She owns it, and she can replenish it. She is the one who holds that water, that emotional abundance, not anyone else. So if you do feel isolated, if you do feel like, you know, all this shit is happening to me, you can look at it this way. Of course, it's so easy to look at it like, oh, this shit is happening to me, I'm left out in the cold, poor me, all this pain, all this hurt. That's where you're gonna hold yourself into. But you have all these supportive cards telling you that this is not the case, telling you that this is a space for you to process. Just look at the things with that inner wisdom of yours. Tune into that intuition, and you're being supported here. You see, the moon is actually holding space for her, for the High Priestess. Bring yourself into this Queen of Cups. Call upon the inner Queen of Cups within you to have compassion, really. She's a very compassionate person. Have compassion for the side of you that feels like this first in order to start feeling integrated. You can integrate the side of you that feels isolated. This is a process for you to get in touch with your inner self, to free yourself for certain prejudice and ideas that don't work for you any longer. And this is a lovely time of coming back home. This is a lovely time to coming back into your power of a abundant, generous, king of your castle sort of person. And there you go. This brings a lot of, like, curiosity back. You're coming back into yourself. You're coming back into the world. You're coming back into you're coming back into that place of looking at the world with curiosity and being able to temper out my emotions. You're learning so much from this. And you see, there's an emphasis on the heart here. This is your fire starts burning again. You're moving away from this place of apathy, and you're able to live again. You're able to feel alive and happy. Well, not necessarily happy, but, you know, joy and happiness actually come from being in the present moment and from letting go of how things should be and living life for what it is. And it comes with the Eight of Swords, which is a very fast moving energy, and it's also kind of like grounding. You see, it kind of goes down to the ground. It's also messages. So Ace of Swords can be, you start getting like the spiritual messages, and you have, and it's been supported by an angel here. You connect to your guides, you connect to your inner wisdom, you connect to your higher self, and you're getting the information that you need to get on a spiritual side, on getting the downloads that you need from your heart. You're starting connecting to your heart, and you're getting the messages that you need there in order to move forward with a new cycle of joy and curiosity. The temperance is all about keeping like really do things in with temperance, and make a step, see where that goes, hold back, come back, and see what did this do. Okay, put a little bit of water from this cup into this cup. What's the effect on this? What's the effect that this has on me or on the world? How does this feel if I do this? Okay, this felt like this. Okay, what am I learning from this? Having that curiosity. And it doesn't need to be as slow as it sounds. This can be just a process that you're creating for yourself. Again, you're creating your own process. You are learning how to work with yourself here. And this is how you're learning. It can be so much fun, really, to learn how to deal with these different aspects of ourselves. It can be so much fun to observe all these inner personas, all these inner people within ourselves. Where do they come from? Yes, of course, it's good to have the being generous and being compassionate and being like, but observing these inner heroes that have different journeys and different expectations and different dramas. It's almost like watching a movie. Of course, you feel through with the characters, but you are not the characters. You can identify somewhat with, you can have compassion for them, you can shed some tears. But who are you really? You're learning with curiosity, and you're getting the messages more and more, and you're able to share that with the world. So Pisces, this is great work that you're doing. Don't get gloomy there. Um, don't freak out by the tower and by this four of. Just make use of this energy. Really, you can make this work for you, and you can do wonders with this energy. So hang in there. And thank you so much for joining me here. I hope this reading makes sense for you. If it does, and if you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help me a lot to grow my channel and to reach as many people that need to hear these messages. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you here next time. Check out else I'm doing readings for the moon, the phase of the moon, the full moon and the new moon. It's gonna be a new reading for the new moon coming really soon, for the moon in 3 of June, new moon in Gemini. So yeah, tune in for that. And yeah, have an amazing June. Sending lots of love.